Ozempic babies. Kinda sounds like a plot twist straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and a lot of others are being hailed as miracle weight loss drugs right now. And some people are even saying that it's helping them get pregnant. But before you sign up for this miracle, we have to talk about the fine print, and trust me, there is a lot. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Whitney. I'm a fertility dietitian and coach, and I help busy women just like you get out of the Google spiral so they can get pregnant. As a board-certified food and fertility nerd, I've helped hundreds of women figure out their fertility so they can go on to grow the family of their dreams. In today's video, we're diving into part 2 of 3 in my Weight Loss for Fertility series. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, where I share my expert views on weight loss and how it impacts your chances of getting pregnant, check that out right here first. Now, before we dive in, I want to acknowledge something important. As a thin, white woman, I know that my experience comes with a certain level of privilege. Body image and fertility challenges are deeply personal, and for so many women, especially those in larger bodies and from marginalized communities, these experiences come with lots of layers of complexity. My goal today is to speak with compassion and inclusivity, recognizing that my perspective is not universal. This space is for everyone trying to navigate the fertility journey, regardless of body size or background. Now, you've probably heard about these medications everywhere. Social media, the news, even your doctor's office. There's a reason you clicked on this video. So why would medical providers prescribe these GLP-1 medications for fertility? And more importantly, what is the science behind it? Medications like Ozempic work by mimicking a hormone in your gut called glucagon-like peptide 1. This hormone plays a big role in regulating your blood sugar by stimulating insulin secretion and increasing circulating glucagon. It slows down how quickly your stomach empties and increases your feelings of satiety, which makes you feel fuller for longer and eat less. GLP-1 medications can reduce your insulin resistance, which is especially beneficial for women who are dealing with PCOS, where high insulin levels can be a contributing factor to their fertility struggles. By improving insulin sensitivity, GLP-1s can normalize sex hormones like androgens and help regulate ovulation. This is why some doctors are now prescribing these medications for women who are struggling with infertility due to insulin resistance. However, despite these potential advantages, it's important to remember that this is still an off-label use for fertility, and there are some significant risks. Let's talk about some big red flags when it comes to these medications and their impact on fertility. The first thing I'm going to note is there's no long-term data. GLP-1 receptor agonists were originally developed for managing type 2 diabetes and obesity, not fertility. According to a comprehensive review published in the Annals of Internal Medicine this year, we don't have long-term data on how these medications impact fertility or pregnancy outcomes. So while some women may see short-term improvements, we simply don't know the long-term effects on reproductive health just yet. My second big red flag is the issues associated with chronic undereating. GLP-1 receptor agonists slow down that gastric emptying and reduce your appetite, meaning that you could end up undereating or not absorbing the nutrients that you need. Recent studies have found that women on these medications were at a higher risk of deficiencies in key nutrients like folate, vitamin D, and iron. And these are all critical nutrients for egg quality and hormone production. Not to mention the impacts on bone health and metabolism. A review from Frontiers in Endocrinology warns that chronic undereating can reduce your bone density and increase your risk of osteoporosis and fractures later in life. Undereating also slows down your metabolic rate. See, when you aren't eating very much, your brain goes into panic mode and slows down all of your bodily processes, aka your metabolism. This mechanism is meant to prevent you from starving during a food shortage like a famine. But this day and age, we have an abundance of food, and this means that it's going to be hard to maintain that weight loss long term if your metabolic rate is tanked. So yes, you may lose weight in the short term, but the potential loss of muscle mass and bone health, as well as nutrient deficiencies, is the hidden cost. And my third big red flag is an increased risk of autoimmune disease. New evidence from a 2022 study suggests that long-term use of GLP-1 medications could up your risk of autoimmune-related thyroid dysfunction. If your thyroid's out of balance, it can directly impact your ovulation, egg quality, and your ability to maintain a pregnancy. Thyroid hormones regulate almost every part of your reproductive system, so this is not a risk to take lightly. Those are the red flags you should keep in mind before considering these medications. But even if you do decide to go down the GLP-1 route, there's another big question. What happens when you stop taking them, especially when you get pregnant? Currently, there's no protocol that recommends taking GLP-1s in pregnancy. So once you become pregnant, you will have to stop this medication. And I gotta be honest, after working in the weight management space for 7 years, there are some major potential hurdles that you might have to deal with if this happens. The first issue I see coming up is appetite regulation post-medication. When you stop these meds, your appetite can rebound in a big way sometimes. A recent study showed that GLP-1 medications, while effective, work only as long as you're taking them. Once you stop, your hunger cues can become overwhelming as they're coming back, especially if you couple that with pregnancy changes, with hormones and appetites changing throughout that process. Now, the second thing that I am really concerned about is body image struggles throughout pregnancy. So if you are working with these medications to lose weight and you're watching your body get smaller, and then you become pregnant and have to go off these medications, and then to go from one extreme to the next, you're watching your body get smaller to go watching your body get bigger. Even if it's pregnancy related and you know that your body is supposed to do that, it is still very hard, both mentally and physically. And the third concern that I have is the risk of being undernourished when you get pregnant. See, pregnancy is not the time to be running on empty. When you're pregnant, your body prioritizes the needs of the fetus, meaning that the baby will pull nutrients that it needs, even if that leaves you depleted. Now, while that might sound reassuring, this puts you at a much higher risk of nutrient deficiencies, bone loss, muscle wasting, big issues. Well, in the short term, this might not seem like such a huge deal, but long term, this nutrient drain can compromise your health and even impact your postpartum recovery. It's essential to enter pregnancy well nourished, so you're supporting both you and the baby from the start. So here's my take. GLP-1 medications can offer short-term benefits for weight loss and help some women with insulin resistance and PCOS get pregnant. But, and this is a big but, we are still in the early days of understanding how these medications affect long-term reproductive health. Fertility is complex, and weight loss alone is not a magic bullet. We need to address the root causes behind weight gain or weight cycling and hormonal imbalances and build a comprehensive plan that supports your entire body, not just your waistline. If you're already on a GLP-1 medication or you're seriously considering it, don't panic just yet after watching this video. In my next video, I'm gonna dive into the diet and lifestyle habits I recommend following to support your fertility while taking these meds. So stay tuned for that. Now, in the meantime, if you're ready to lay the groundwork for your 2024 pregnancy, check out my other videos and go ahead and download the Fertile Kickstarter guide I've linked below. This is where I'm sharing my insider tips to boost your fertility without the hype, the stress, the pills, or the restriction. That's all for today, folks. If you are a fellow food and fertility nerd, be sure to comment below and hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.